LA International Airport, where the big jet engines roar. LA International Airport, I won't see him anymore. With silver wings across the sky, vapor trails that wave goodbye to those below who've got to stay at home.
So you got the headlines?
Matadji, or Taipi, is now known as, where the big flood was up there in New Guinea a couple of years ago. But we went to Hollandia, that's New Guinea. Probably well remembered because of two events. One when we intercepted a crowd over Beak, 3rd of June it was, from memory. And Scotland had a big day out. I think it was 9 confirmed, a couple of probables. And
that would have been huge, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Huge, wouldn't it be?
Well, I have seen it written up as one of the most successful RAF air engagements of the war, but I think that was probably, what do you call it? And they put these stories out that are well exaggerated.
You know, media beat up. I don't know, I think 9's pretty powerful.
Anyway, it was a lucky day for me because there was one aircraft that a bloke had a shot at and I had a quick shot at, and then there was 4 Zeros flying down in formation and never saw me. And I was lucky to get 2 of them straight off before they knew I was there. And the other 2 got away. But it was getting down to sea level, you know, I can argue with a couple of Zeros at sea level.
Were they, so you were in a Kitty Hawk, yeah, and they were in Zeros?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're so manoeuvrable.
Were they much more manoeuvrable?
Oh, yeah. The story was that the 75 squadron went up there and the hierarchy sitting on their bloody bums in Melbourne criticised 75 squadron for not mixing in dogfights like they used to, you know, were doing over in England and that sort of thing. Because they employed the tactics of get above them, go through them, don't come back because you're gone. They just start to mix it, you're just gone. And that's partly how 75. But the hierarchy told 75 squadron they would stop that and stay and fight. Of course they didn't last any time. Here's the bugger back in Melbourne telling, it was the same with all the AIF and Blaney. He got booed off the, Don Cowley reckon he got booed off the parade ground up there in New Guinea once, telling that bloke to mob a coward. And they just come out the Kokoda trial. He wasn't popular.
He was a bit of ordinary work, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. He's a bit of a womanizer, so they say. So that was a good day for the squadron, and lots of excitement, of course. But the other time was when I used to do all the testing, the aircraft, new aircraft or aircraft that had been repaired and what have you. I took one up one day and didn't like it. I was coming into land, which was a metal strip, and there was, I don't know how many Douglases teed up along the side, but there was a lot of them because, you know, all this terrific lot of stuff used to come in by plane. And then on the other side, it came virtually down to the camp, down to the strip was the camps and that sort of thing. And there was a control tower in the middle of it. The trucks used to come across the strip to go to the aircraft, the Douglas and that sort of thing. There was a metal strip. And there was a big, they always had a big black fellow there with a gun to stop the trucks when we were coming into land. and I came into land this day and the axle broke. Well, it was the wing dug into the ground, of course, and I couldn't go around again and sort of come in on a belly landing, so I had a very brief period of time to do 4 things. One was to get rid of the belly tank, which was still 80 gallons of petrol in a metal container on a metal strip. Get the other leg up and get the aircraft on its belly. I'll get it. So it would have screed across the strip into this aircraft. The third one was to switch the engine off, and the fourth one was to go like hell. And over this day why it didn't go off with, the metal tank on a metal strip and spit petrol. But it didn't. And anyway, it didn't burn. Of course, it was, I don't know how many .5 round, but it was enough for 6 guns. She burnt, and they were going off in the strip with all these aircraft. She'd have been real fireworks. The big bloody blokes totally entrenched and Christ only knows what. I went back then to get my parachute out. I left it behind. And this jeep arrived with this young American doctor in. How are you here? Have these, you see? And I said, what are they? He said, salt tablets. And I found out years later it was a good thing, salt, in a case like that where you had a praying or something other. There's a couple of salt tablets. But that was so handy for me.
Did you get credit for that, for not blowing up the...
Oh no, sheer luck. Not much to do with me. Sheer luck, that one.
Now, old Mick Campbell, he was your mechanic up there, wasn't he?
Yeah, no, Mick, he used to look after my aircraft. When we went on to the next place, which was Numfa, old Mick came to me one morning, he said, Jesus, Dick, I'm in trouble. I said, yes, Mick, what have you done? He said, I sat at the bar at the Belinda Yank last night, a bottle of juice, which was the jungle juice, of course, you see. And he said, he's walking up and down the gun with this, up and down the strip now, the gun looking for me. I said, will you go up to the doctor and get yourself in hospital as quick as you can? That was how dumb Mick. But he was a great firearm maker, Mick. He gave me a set of pearl wings. We've got here still. He was a good bloke. He was a great stockman, a great horseman, Mick.
What, the juice, the American was looking for him because he was, what, hungover or?
Sorry?
The American was looking for him for what?
We've got here still. He was a good bloke. He was a great stockman, a great horseman, Mick.
What, the juice, the American was looking for him because he was, what, hungover or?
Sorry?
The American was looking for him for what reasons?
Going to shoot him.
Yeah, but...
I think God would charge him 20 kilos for this bottle of jungle juice. Pretty raw, and he's probably still in the DTs.
Okay.
You're going to put a bullet now, Nick. Oh dear. Anyway, the doctor looked after him for a couple of days. Things settled down.
There must have been, for all the grief and horror that was happening, there must have been a lot of jocularity.
Oh yeah, all fun. But no, someone didn't come home, well that was it, sort of thing. I had a very good friend of mine. He was only 50 yards away from me once, and we were going into a place and this gun opened up on him. Fortunately it was him, but it was just, straight head on. And so it was just the luck. We got in the first shot in, and they got him, and he went up. the machine gun got stopped, so that was one of the aircraft, anti-aircraft, which was luck because he didn't have time to get a shot at me. So much luck. People come home with, you know, holes in the blind canopy. Bullet went past there or something. I mean, it happened to me. I went to Noompha and I had another close shave there. Once we went over to Straffa place that been to before, and I reckon I knew where the guns, the AK guns were. They'd shifted the blind and seen silly beggars. And I was looking at them and had a blasted fly in the cockpit with me. And I stood again and looking at these guns, and the next thing, dirty great big dead tree ended up right in front of me. It made an awful hole in the wings that it stayed there. But everybody had that sort of luck, so you didn't have the luck. And there, actually, I'd had pneumonia at Camden, and I was a couple of months late getting to the squadron. So the original pilots, a lot of them went home going home from there, but I had to stay on for 2 months. And, not scolding about this, but just tell you how things happen. I was the sort of senior pilot in the squadron at the time, and I was still a flight sergeant. And there were pilots coming back who'd been in tours before, and they were coming back as probably FOs or flight lieutenants and things. And so I was made the flight commander as a sergeant pilot. And of course that led to a bit of bitterness. They didn't like being led around the skies by the bloody sergeant pilot. Anyway, I left the squadron there and went back, had a bit of leave, and posted to Point Cook to do an instructor's course. I did that down there a couple of months.
When would that have been? When would that have been?
End of 44. And there I was posted to Cunnamulla, which was a...
Where you became engaged?
That was an EFTS, as they call it, Elementary Flying Training School. But the Empire Air Scheme was still going, but it was getting near the end of the war, and they were sort of had enough. And a lot of the pilots were, we never got away. We taught them to fly, but they never went overseas from there. That stayed into 44. And from there was offers to join the Royal Australian Navy in the Fleet Air Arm. And so I put in for that and got one that was accepted. So I transferred to the Fleet Air Arm. And fly as a sub-lieutenant, that's right. Nice uniform.
Beautiful uniform.
Photographed.
So the Fleet Air Arm is like the on the aircraft carriers and what have you?
Yeah,
okay.
That's with the C5s in the Spitty version.
Okay, now this was still before the end of the war?
Yeah. But it was getting close then. And anyway, we're down in New South Wales, south of Sydney there. And then I got malaria, so I didn't... the rest of them were trained, and they went away on the Implac, I think it was, Implacable. And there was 2 courses, there was 12, there was 24 was taken out of the Air Force and went into the Fleet Air Arm. The others went, but I was in hospital and it wouldn't wait for me with malaria. And then I sort of mucked around Sydney for a while, spending all my money while they decided what to do with me. I remember being in Sydney with a 2 and 6 penny blinded thing you get from the post office, what do you call it?
Oh, money order.
Money order, in a taxi.
How did you get around that one?
The taxi was very obliging. They emptied my pockets and got us a lonely place when you'd hit bloody blinded broke in a big city. But I knew there'd be some blokes coming in from the station that night, so, and I knew which pub they'd be at, so I had to do a bit of borrowing and went back to the station and stayed there, and I built up a bit more cash. And we came back to, they said, what do you want to do? Join the permanent Navy, or you want a discharge? And I said, oh, I'll take a discharge. So I went back to Brisbane and was discharged up in Brisbane. That's the end of my service record.
Well, that was the end of the war, wasn't it?
Yeah.
What about in terms of paying? Probably like you're mentioning being broke. You obviously, you're paid by the Australian government. Did you get more for being in New Guinea?
Yes, you did. You got an overseas allowance for that while you were there. And when we were in Hollandia and Norfolk, we were in Dutch New Guinea, and that was we were paid in guilders, and which was a bit higher currency. It was a higher rate of pay than the Australian gave. I think I got about 17 and 6 as a sergeant pilot.
How often?
A week.
Wasn't much.
Oh, I got key.
Yeah.
You got shot at too.
Oh, no, we lived in tents in New Guinea. We were much better off in the army, but at least we had a bed and mattress and out of the mud. But got pretty savage there sometimes. In the wet season, the storms would come up, and you'd be coming home, you'd be wondering about your petrol and that sort of thing. What do you do? Where do you go? You go now, or would the storm go past? All that sort of thing, especially when you've got 12 or 18 aircraft following you. You've got to make quick decisions.
You were squadron leader.
No, I used to lead the squadron, but I was only sergeant pilot.
Okay.
That's where the contention came in.
Okay.
And there were senior officers flying
Behind you.
behind me, sort of thing.
You'd had the experience.
Well, I'd been the longest in the squadron.
Yeah.
They'd done one tour, so they were all experienced, of course. And I was at the end of my tour. It was only a couple of months, but anyway, it happened that way. That's the way they worked it. There was another fellow that I knew, a fellow Mick McGregor. He ended up in the same circumstance. He was still a sergeant pilot when he was a flight commander. It was, normally a position held by a flight lieutenant, which is equal to a captain.
No,
We were over on this island and escorted a convoy to a truck, which was up north in New Guinea, out in the middle of the bloody ocean. And we had to stay the night there. Anyway, we were sort of having breakfast next morning, getting an early start, and the aircraft taking off. The bombs, big Liberated. They had to lighten the bomb load on and increase the fuel, because it was a very long trip. But anyway, these aircraft were taking off, and all of a sudden it's a goddamn terrible bloody bang. One of the Liberators had got airborne, and something happened, and it crashed in amongst a campfield of what are called like CBs. They were the construction crew. And she went into the middle of them, and I don't know, it stink. But we heard reports that 300 odd were killed. But how many, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But it had got a bloody lot. But they'd all been just starting to move around.
When you went out on operations, were the operations designated like from the day before, or were they reactionary as in terms of scrambles?
No, well, you usually knew the night before, and invariably, not invariably, but quite often you'd be organised and you next day, you get up for breakfast sort of thing, it's been changed. You know, you're going to do some bombing and strafing somewhere. Instead of that, orders had come through, no, bombs off, bombs on, bombs off, it's a patrol. You know, really, you didn't know till breakfast time when you got to the strip what you would do sometimes. But anyway, that's the way the war went. They used
Could
to,
have been a particular sort of situation with all Australia directed by Americans.
oh, well, it was all part of it. They directed everything anyway. Had no option.
No. But did you sort of think that they were up to it?
Oh yeah, they were typical, you know, typical American. I am, we did this, we done that,
Yeah.
we're the best. And all that, they used to have pictures every night you could go to. But a lot of it was propaganda with Americans winning this and winning that.
What did they say of the First World War? Won the war in 20 days or something? Came in at the end.
Well, they accumulated fantastic wealth by supplying Britain with arms in both wars.
So the war ended, you were discharged. What happened then?
What did I do? Oh, I went back to primaries, didn't stay there long, because there had nothing for me to do. And I thought it's flying game, and that's when Peter Chapman, myself and an English lad had come out here with his wife. He'd been a pilot, and we started up that air show training and that sort of thing with Tiger Moss at Archerfield. We bought, I think, 10 or 12 Tiger Moss at Tamworth. I think we paid £200 for them. And we did them up there and flew them back to Archerfield and sort of sold them from there.
Okay.
Who, you and John?
No, it was Peter Chapman and an English fellow and a fellow called Munro.
Which one?
Which Munro?
Not my friend Eric.
No, I forget his first name. Yes. And then, anyway, that was fun. I remember we were in Maryborough, I think it was. Peter Chapman and I were walking up the street in the evening. This car went past with a dicky seat in the back. You know those cars used to have the dicky seat?
Yeah.
The lids used to open like a boot,
Yeah.
and only the other way. And you sat in it. And there's a wild bloody scream from this girl. And I looked up, here's this little waffle, like we used to know all the fighter sector girls in Brisbane and the Waffle. Here was one of the girls from there.
The Waffle?
Waving her hands frantically. So she was a lovely little girl. Red-headed, Mopsy they used to call her.
Mopsy.
The children
You got pictures
red-headed.
of her.
Yeah. He gave me that book, The Gremlins,
Oh.
which is
What
valuable
was
these
happened to
days.
her?
I don't know. And then I bought a couple of aircraft and sold them, one of them to Tommy Spence.
He's mentioned the letters there.
Unfortunately, met him.
He's still around.
We met him the other day at Alex funeral. He's up here.
Alex.
Alex would party.
Oh.
But a few years later, I was flying John Hammond up to Longreach, up to Darwin. I met him in Longreach. And next day was the roughest bloody day I've ever flown in, I think. And got that rumble there.
Leon would know him.
He's a character.
He had that, I was like a moss for years, I believe. £450 he paid for it.
Yeah.
So what did the people who you sold your planes to, what did they do with them?
They were private job. One was in one to Tommy and one down to Peter and New South Wales. And then I got this job with John Hartman. That was very time that I was very pleased to have had, actually, because we used to go to all these country towns. You met everybody, of course, asked everywhere, and all that sort of thing. And it was a completely private show. You landed in someone's paddock and that sort of thing.
That was flying, though he was a dentist.
Yeah. And the aircraft was VHUFU, an aircraft that Darwin had flown out from England here for.
Yeah.
Then we set off to the territory. We went up to Darwin. There's no dentists in Darwin those days. And a big population. And on a Sunday, you get this smell and this cloud of smoke over Darwin. Because the sewage system was to 244s welded together and down on the ground. And on Sunday, you got a few sticks and paper and kerosene and set fire to it. That's Sunday morning ritual for everybody in Darwin. It's really interesting flying because, there's no navigation, was all map reading. And some of the maps there, I've still got them. I've got maps of the whole of Australia. We used to use at the airport. These maps are inaccurate up to 5 miles.
Inaccurate.
Inaccurate up to 5 miles up in that northern country.
That makes a fair bit of difference on an empty tank of fuel, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, I remember once we were coming back from VRD across the Newcastle water, and this thing of wind blew up straight into it. And we just hit the aerodrome, taxied in, and the bloody motor stopped.
Oh, true. Yeah.
There's nothing much we could do about it, it's all mould to scrub underneath it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was lucky.
Wasn't there another time, just reading those letters that you wrote to Mum, you seem to have made the papers in the Northern Territory for actually running out and having to
Yeah,
walk?
we ran out of, bloody aircraft coming into land, sent us down again, we ran out of fuel and landed. It was out of town a bit, but nothing happened about it. Of course, the papers blew it up as usual.
So you did a bit of a crash.
So, no, we got back that night all right. And we got it the next day. It got dark, so we had to go. Leave the aerodrome because of the big aircraft coming in, you see.
Right.
So we went down the paddock just on this. I went up this Timber Creek was at the top of this Jasper's Gorge, and you see it in daylight or dusk. Absolutely fantastic colouring, sun. And visitors, when things got bad, they just let their donkeys go. Well, including their horses, just let go. And they bred up, they put it up and them up there.
You can't have been able to carry a lot of dentistry equipment with you, Paul.
Well, he had pedal drill, all the necessaries. He used to wanted some more acrylic or anaesthetics or something or other and get him sent up to where we were going. I got him sent up. But I had all the necessary gear. No x-rays or anything.
Who were your
No chair.
Who were your clients? Like the managers and
Everybody.
yeah, okay.
Everybody. See, big towns like Warren, Darwin didn't have a dentist
Oh, yeah.
in the late 40s.
The real.
And I don't know what the population would have been, but it was a fair-sized town.
Was it hard to get fuel up there, Bobby? Was it hard to get?
No, the flying doctor, that was very good. They had, like at VRD, they had drums stacked there, and we could use that. But it was interesting. I had photographs of tenants. I've got photographs of a lot of that country up there. And Tennant Creek. No, yes, Tennant Creek. Oh, what's the one photograph of it? And years later, there was a fella here, he was in charge of the beat board, that sort of thing. And they had started a dairy up at Catherine, and somehow he got mixed up in that. And he started it one day, and I said, oh, I've got another photograph here of Tennant Creek taken back in the 40s. He said, oh, there's got a historical society up there now.
Pine Creek?
Pine Creek, yes, Pine Creek. And anyway, I said, oh, I'll give you a couple of photographs. So I gave him a couple of photographs, and they got them up there in the museum, taken back in the 40s. But the pub in Catherine was an interesting one because there's all that little ripple iron, all those visions of ripple iron and everything else.
And now it's come back with a vengeance, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It was fairly bloody noisy.
Yes.
Two people would have been a crowd in that.
Oh.
And you hear the old butcher, they'll cook in the morning, getting a bit of meat out of the safe, and he's building hell out of it, you know, the tenderize and bang, bang, bang. This is going on. They'll take for breakfast in the morning.
Yeah, when you think of the fuss now to keep everything absolutely spotless.
Well,
During Tennant Creek.
you talk about spotless things.
Yeah, nursing.
Sorry, Dad?
You talk about spotless things. When we were at Wyndham, they had, you know, the works there, and they used to have this paddock with a few killers in it. The killers got out, and the pub, it's hot as hell, is down at the bottom of this hill and runs out to the walls and things there. Anyway, the killers got out, and one afternoon we saw this old black fella coming down the hill with a gun over one shoulder, and this bloody goat he'd shot and gutted over the other shoulder, and a mass of black bloody flies round him. Sure enough, next morning, lamb chops was on the menu. After that, then that folded up. Then I worked. Went to work down in Benalla with Bob Osmond, and when I was down there in Victoria, that's when I do the block.
Okay.
I think it was November 50, I think it was.
What were you doing in Victoria?
Oh, he had a farm down there.
How about servicing your plane? Did you do that yourself?
Yeah, well, there was a bloke in Darwin who used to do it, or we'd come back to Brisbane to get it done.
And did you catch up with Mum then?
Just sure. I think she was in Melbourne flirting with the communist.
And most of the time Dad was there, I was down working in Victoria and Tassie and other places.
Were you writing then? Were you writing to each other then? Like we've got the letters here from Darwin, so.
Were we?
Oh,
Did
yes.
you know?
Yes, you got all the history of those trips up to Darwin and territory.
Oh, I have, yours, but I don't know, did you know that I was down there?
I must have to address the letters to you.
Well, I think a lot of those went to Wingham.
Oh, did they?
I think so.
Oh, they probably shit around so much I didn't know where you were.
Sent them to a mother and father.
Impress the future in-laws.
Please forward if you know where she is.
Yeah, well, I've got all the old envelopes there, you know.
Oh,
A
true.
lot of those. I think I obviously started doing that, and that's as far as it got. But I think that was mostly when he was flying with John.
And did you type them?
Yeah, I used to type.
Are they Dad letters?
I typed Dad's letters.
Oh, did
That's
you?
what Richard's.
Yeah, Dad handwrote them to Mum, and then Mum's obviously retyped them.
Oh,
But I did that
that's
at Robina, I think.
oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was going to do more, but that's as far as it got.
That's great.
Yes.
Very
But
important.
I've got all his letters, I think, in that thing.
Have you?
Yes, but I don't think they're for public.
Put them on the webpage.
Yeah, we can scan them.
We were only engaged for a very short time, weren't we?
Yeah, not long.
Oh,
I got
right.
right down.
You got it all written down.
No, I got run down.
Run down, crikey.
So, how long was your engagement?
5 months, I think. But we didn't want to tell anybody till Dad came down and asked for my hand, you see. But Dad drew the block. I was in Melbourne. Dad wrote to me, told me about it. Bob wrote to me and told me about it.
Bob.
My Bob.
Oh, Bob, yeah.
And what happened? Oh yes, Dad suggested that we come out and see it. Come out and see it for Christmas.
So you and Bob go out to Cunnamulla?
Bob and I and Audrey
Oh, right.
went out to Cunnamulla to see Dick and what he had done.
What's Audrey's last name? What's Audrey's last name?
Audrey Johnston.
Okay, yeah.
She came to my birthday party.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how it was.
And when I drew the block, I wrote her a letter. I tore it off up and that I better not send this off and 5 bob a week and sleep with the boss.
He's always been offering 5 bob a week and sleep with the boss.
Well, there's a lot more decorum in these letters. Maybe they're the ones that she hasn't typed up yet.
They're the ones we're going to scare.
Maybe these are the ones that Mother might have burned.
Yes, she made me burn all my old photographs before I married Dad.
Which you promptly didn't do.
Yes, I did. She stood over me.
No, well, you said you had a photograph of the...
Oh yes, but that, yeah.
And there are a few others posted away somewhere.
Nothing to what your father might have. He's got a suit. He's got a porch full of things that we don't get to see.
No,
What did you say about Como?
I said, you went combo after your first adventure with me. You went red.
Oh, I did too. Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Yes.
Certainly was. What's your name on the list?
Yeah, I did. On the communist list. I was being watched. You didn't know about my Como.
Didn't you put that in the letter, though?
I might have shot him, otherwise it was bloody combo.
I'll still be on.
Because I checked on it.
Yeah, they did. Uncle Bob had a friend in the police force and he just checked to see. Yes, my name was on the list. People to watch. Isn't that amazing? Just because you go out with a communist.
Well, it was the time when communists were really going and they were a worry. Fortunately, Bindy sort of took over and squashed it.
I probably would have run a mile if he'd suggested that.
5 bob a week, that's not bad, is it?
Well, I was never offered 5 bob a week.
And I imagine my thing say you mustn't cross lines here, but when we got back, Bob and Audrey and I, and walked into the kitchen, and Mum said, she must have had a few clues, you know, what was going on. She said, darling, what was Dick's house like? And I said, oh, quite a nice little wooden house, Mum. Wood, said Bob, you must be blind. It was pure unadulterated tin.
Somebody wasn't there to look at the house.
much furniture, did you?
No, I had a bed.
Oh, I didn't know about that, but you
I
had.
had a chair, a stretcher, table, a chair, a
You
stove.
didn't. You had one chair. One chair and kerosene tins.
Yeah. We lived in the tin hut with 3 children till 1958, till we moved into the new house, which was great excitement and worldly belongings. We took over the wheelbarrow, 50 yards, and it was a lovely home. HMC transferred into a real family show with the complete with garden, etc. And we had many happy years there together with the family, children, with the family and what have you.
Excuse me, I heard mention of the garden. We used to have a cowboy, didn't we? They always got pains in their stomach when it came to doing anything.
In the garden.
They got diarrhea or something, you know, it was a job that didn't like, God, they were a cutting bunch. We didn't have many, did we?
Well, it was all sand ridge, of course, but the sheep manure was fantastic, wasn't it? Loads of sheep manure, had a beautiful garden, but it was a bit heartbreaking because you'd get an early summer storm or something out of a heat wave, and beautiful garden would go overnight. And things, so it was pretty touch and go with after all the work went into how long are you going to have this beautiful garden for?
Well, it never lasted very long,
No.
the annuals, but it was quite beautiful. And the worst thing with it, when in the drought, because we could always keep the lawn green, couldn't we, with the ball water?
Yeah.
Kangaroos used to eat everything. But I think we said the other day they didn't like marigolds, they used to spit them out. And we planted the front 3 gardens with marigolds. So that was a good thing.
Nothing to see happen down there. Kangaroos jumped the front fence when you got up in the morning.
What about furnishings in terms of furnishings? How did you go
Well, we
about?
didn't have much, you see. And we took all our worldly goods over in the wheelbarrow.
Would have been hard going in the sand.
All of 30 yards or something.
I can still see Mrs. Howard. We always had a cook. We had Mrs. Howard.
Yeah, we built the cottage, didn't we?
Yeah. And everybody used to drive past the hut and go to the cottage because it was smart.
Well, right, when did you build a cottage then?
More or less straight away for Bill. Bill Benton.
Well, we had a couple of blokes there, and they milled that lot of timber for the shed and the quarters and the cottage.
I thought that we had the cottage before we had them. Because you built the cottage. You and Bill. Benji.
No, I don't think so.
Oh yes, because Mum and Dad stayed in it.
Yeah,
And
well,
Mum couldn't get up the front steps.
Bill and I certainly didn't build it.
Yes, you did. Because that's where they slept.
Well,
Mum and Dad.
yes, but the shed and quarters went up fairly early in our married life.
Mum and Dad came pretty early because Dad only lived.
Well,
We
I'll
had-
face it, we didn't build a cottage.
You did.
Did not.
You and Bill.
Pause.
I'll do, Rob.
Don't let off with your black cloth second.
Darling, Dad was not alive when we even started the house. All he knew was that we were
I
going
know, but that's what I'm saying. You had 3 children when we started the house, or 2 and 9,
Yes.
2 and 9/10, or
Yes.
7 nights.
7 nights.
So,
Yes.
but the cottage was up then.
Yes.
Yes. But they built
The
it.
house wasn't.
No.
So you're both saying the same thing.
Oh,
You're both saying the same thing.
well, that's all right then.
It's like an argument with a green bottle.
Anyway,
The cottage was very basic. You could see through all the floor, the boards.
oh, that was when it was only one little
Well,
thing.
that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm talking about it was enlarged. It
Oh,
was
that
quite
was
a mansion.
Oh, yeah.
And that had the dining room and the bedroom and the kitchen.
But even when it was an only
Kitchen
one-room cottage that you and Bill...
Oh yes, we put that up, the one room one.
Yeah, but people used to drive past the tin
Oh,
hut
it's
to
very
go to
fair,
the
right?
one-room thing because it was smarter than the tin hut.
True.
Yes.
Have we got photos of the original cottage then?
Yeah, well, see, there was just this room put up. And, oh, I suppose that big. It was just a bedroom.
This is the one-room thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then it was enlarged after that.
Yes. Quite smart.
Yeah, well, kitchen and that sort of thing. Yeah.
And a veranda.
Yeah, but that was after.
Oh, yes. No, but the one-room thing that you put up first and Mum and Dad slept in.
Yeah.
And walked up those steps, and Mum had to crawl up because she couldn't step from one to another.
Well,
They economised on making the steps. And Dad used to walk ahead of her holding the kerosene lantern, and Mum would come behind with all the clothes. So not to get prickles in them, she had to hold them right up like that. I remember going over see if they were all right, and they both had beanies on in bed. Because the wind whistled through the shrank, you see, after they put it up.
no time to season the timber.
What?
No time to season the timber.
No, it was in a hurry.
Did you season the timber for Robina, for the house?
I used to, after tea at night, Mum would I'd go out to the mill with a couple of lanterns and we'd load all the timber they cut that day. And it'd be cut to a size. George Williams, Lucy's architect, he told us you want, 200 pieces of 8 foot 42 or something like that. And we had we cut all the timber to its side and we had it all stacked on that side of it. So we used to go up and load it on the truck and bring it back and unload it to these piles. And then I'd sing out from Mum, 10 foot of 4x2, 18 foot of 3x2.
No, we put it all down.
And Mum wrote it all down. So we had a check of all the quantity of timber we had. We cut.
It was a long time before I knew that B2 was by 2. I thought it was B2. I wrote B2. But
We used to put some sawdust over it, stop it from walking.
Did you sawdust? And how long did you season it for?
I don't know, Bindy, it was cut. We had the big majority of it cut when the builders got there.
Yeah.
Dad cut it all. Every stick of that house. It was wonderful. And he had a huge boil on his neck too, I remember.
And one of the original chainsaws, it started in the morning. You get a stop for a cup of tea or something over the refueler, and God, it would never start again. So we gave that away and went down and got one of those mobile codes, ones you push,
Yeah.
with a blade on it like that. And we got some, we had that blade, that's right. And we got a galleting machine and we used to gallop and sharpen it ourselves. I got a book on how to gallop and sharpen, which I don't know, Lily probably had. It was good, it used to give you all the angles and all the cuts, and all the different types of saws. It was a really good book. Anyway, we had this galloping machine and the short sharpener. And but it was 10 miles from the north of the south boundary of Robina, and I pushed it that 10 miles over the sand dunes.
Bloody hell.
And I reckon we cut probably 800 trees.
Well, it was a 40 square house.
How big was the house?
40 square.
A lot of waste in it because,
Yeah.
they'd have to take the flitch off, which would be used in a Norman mill.
Yeah.
But it was no use to them.
What were the railway lines?
That was for the trolleys. We used to bring the logs in and put them on the trolleys.
Yeah.
And then they used to roll that onto a trolley and went up to the saw and a trolley the other side that took the timber out.
How many fellas were working on that mill? How many fellas did you have working at that mill?
2 boys. Geez, they were good lads. They came from the first couple we had. One bloke lost his finger. We dug around the sawdust underneath the saw, but we never found it. We might want to get it sewn back on.
Imagine doing that today.
Yeah, well, we thought he did it for the compensation.
Oh, you did?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Did he got compo?
He did.
yeah. But then we got these two lads. I think Bob organised
He
them,
did.
something or other.
Yeah.
Bob,
Dad.
Your father?
Yeah, because he was a director of Hancock.
Yeah, but he organised the bench and everything.
Yeah.
And there was an old bloke who used to manage a mill, and he was in the backyard there just hopping around, you know, retired or semi. And he said, I'll fix you up. And he sent all these old saws up, but everything we'd need, he said, this is what you'll need.
Wasn't
He
it
sent
wonderful?
all these saws up, and he set the big bench up, trolleys, rails, everything we needed.
where are they all now?
Well, they all over Robina, and I don't know
They
where
are,
they've
yeah.
been.
I remember a lot of the timber in the trolleys rotting fairly.
Yeah.
Years. I think they sort of, once they started to go, they went pretty quickly. Because I remember pushing them around as kids, as
Yeah.
a young kid, and then sort of the next memory I had is of them sort of sitting there and rotting.
I've got a couple of terrific photographs. Early one morning I was going out, and there was all ice over the flitches, what we call the flitches. And they're blue just about, with ice. That's a fantastic photograph.
Yeah, and see so many of them on the movies, and Bill's been going to put them on.
He'll have to do that.
Yes,
That
because
could he
I
be
think
his
they'll be
Christmas
cooked up
present?
there in the garage. Are probably no good.
No, no.
Oh, come on, you optimist.
No, but it would be lovely because there's pictures of all these things we've been talking about. And,
Dad.
and the potty labs that ate the plans. God, they talk about the dog.
That's their job.
That's a potty lamb job. Dad, what was the thing you dragged around there? All over the sand ridges?
The porter.
Portermill.
That
Porter
saw,
saw.
remember
Porter
that saw that we used to use to cut timber for the fire, for the wood fire in Robina.
No, a yellow frame with two wheels in the middle,
Yeah.
and a motor, and out the front on the boom was a circular saw. That
Oh, yeah. So, you didn't cut the trees by hand, did you? You cut
and used the saw,
Yeah.
and then you had to trim with the axes.
Good, great.
The excitement of getting those big bearer things for the front veranda,
Yeah, there's only one log I never got home, and that was, I had logs, I think they're 22 feet, on the back of a 12-foot tray, 3-ton Austin.
Ah.
And you used to lift the front wheels up, and sometimes we hit a bump that came off the ground anyway. But what we did, we cut a log about that high, and we put the long logs on the first, you see,
Yeah.
and held them up there sort of thing. And then we'd put, say you might have a big log for 10 foot, so you'd stack those big logs on top. But it's on the movies.
Yeah, the picture of Dad Root sitting
Yeah.
on top of the tray. He had a lovely time. He was the boss boy.
Yeah.
He didn't do much except enjoy himself.
That's terrific, isn't
Get chased out of the loo.
it? When we get chased out of the loo. What
With a shotgun.
Oh, with the shotgun.
Okay.
Goodness me.
Because that's why our fireplace was always a bit skew in the dining room, because Dad took off being a countryman. Took off when he went out to muster or something with you. And the boys did the fireplace without him. So it was never quite right.
They worked though.
Oh yes, they certainly
But
did.
they weren't behind each
No.
other. They
No.
were one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything came out on 2 semi-trailers, I think.
In the beginning.
Everything from Brisbane. Well,
Yeah.
they didn't have the timber, of course, but there was some of the finishing stuff inside.
Yeah, well, the way we,
All
when
the
we
plants.
moved over after we'd moved our belongings in the barrow, up came this big was it a semi? A cupboard thing.
Got bogged. It got bogged.
God, but we had bought everything we needed for the house, the beds, the cupboards were built in. It all came at once, and it all went in straight away. Carpets went down, furniture went in. Mrs. Harwood put everything in the kitchen, never moved a thing because she put them in exactly right. And that was it.